For this morning's spiritual reading, I'm going to read an excerpt from a book that I actually found while preparing this message. I found Reverend Susan Sparks is a pastor in Manhattan at an incredibly inclusive and progressive church. This book is incredible. If anybody wants to borrow it, please let me know. It's amazing. This part is called It's All Holy. As a trained theologian, my favorite movie is, of course, Kung Fu Panda. The best part is when tortoise Zen master Oogway tries to convince Po that even though he's an overweight panda, his true destiny is to be a great dragon warrior. Our destiny, he tells Po, is usually found on the road we take to avoid it. And there in one sentence is my life as an ex-lawyer turned stand-up comedian and minister. My one regret, I wish I had realized earlier that my call was not a wrong number. In fact, that is why I wrote this book. Every person has a call, an invitation to bring all of who we are to the spiritual search. That includes the things that don't fit the mold. The tears, the anger, the joy, and the laughter. It's all holy. We seem to have a much easier time sharing tears and remorse. We come slump-shouldered before God, proudly bearing our shame, our fears, our self-denial, and our suffering. But the part of our humanity that laughs is usually hidden away in shame. Ironically, people speak of sacred tears. American author Washington Irving wrote, "There is a sacredness in tears. They are not the mark of weakness, but of power. They speak more eloquently than 10,000 tongues. They are messengers of overwhelming grief and unspeakable love," unquote. I believe that tears and laughter are almost indistinguishable. Both can offer transformative experiences that cleanse, heal, and restore our spirits. Yes, rarely do we give laughter that chance, though. But we bring laughter and humor into just about every other aspect of life. Corporations use humor in workplace training to address everything from presentation skills to employee mental health. When the workday ends, sitcoms and late night comedians are invited into our living rooms to calm and entertain us. When illness looms, modern medicine itself hails humor as an alternative healing tool, shown to stimulate the immune system and increase wellness. Perhaps most striking is that we usher humor into some of our most vulnerable spaces, such as hospice and grief work. Yet in our most intimate place, our spiritual search, we tend to check our humor at the doors of our houses of worship like we check our coats. These things that don't fit the mold are the very things that give us life and spirit and our very humanity. Swiss psychologist Carl Jung called these things the shadow selves. The parts of us that are alive and well, but that we would prefer to keep on the QT. Here is the problem. We can't be made whole if we don't offer up all of the pieces. It doesn't matter how wonderful God thinks we are. If we consider parts of ourselves unworthy, then we will forever find ourselves slumped shoulders, staring at the floor in holy realms. Our biblical scripture is a very short but important one. Psalms 100, verse 2. Bring a gift of laughter. Sing yourselves into his presence. All right, I'm going to start you guys with a story. I'm sure that shocks all of you. And I promise not to do any really awkward, loud, fake laughter. So imagine this. I was about 6, maybe 7. My sister was 4 or 5. So I was only a little bit shorter at that time. And we're at a Piggly Wiggly, okay, in our suburb of Chicago. My sister and I are going down the aisle behind Mom. Mom gets a little bit ahead, and we're in that aisle that was like every kid's favorite aisle, where it's just bins and bins of scoopable candies that you put in a bag and you think are just, why the grocery store exists, right? And my sister zeroes in on these windmill cookies. They were like her favorite. I don't know. I thought they were like old people cookies, but they were her favorite. And so she's looking at these these cookies, my wheels start spinning because I was a horrible big sister for a few years. And I decide to tell her, hey, you know those are free, right? Well, she jumped on that like me on cake. So she's like, oh, okay. So little Jennifer is just mowing down on windmill cookies. I see a clerk, and I let them know there's a little girl taking their cookies. I found it hilarious. Mom did not. Jen did not. When I got home, I did not. Years later, my sister and I will gift each other, to this day, randomly, birthdays, Christmases, Friendship Day, yes, we're actually friends now. We will gift each other windmill cookies. The best part of the story I left out. So when the clerk approached my sister turns around and like any child, I had told her that the reason they were free was because we get to pay a membership to go to these grocery stores. And so as the clerk approached her, this clerk now thought my sister was all kinds of different because my sister starts yelling, but we have a membership. And the clerk is like, what is going on here? I had to tell that part, that was part of the story. So my sister and I now joke about our membership to Piggly Wiggly and the free windmill cookies that come along with it. People that don't know the story are like, what grocery store did you go to? But the point is that this is not just a good story about what a horrible sister I was and the blessing it is that my sister still likes me. This story proves that situations that are funny, even if they aren't funny when they happen, right? Laughter isn't always easy. But laughter is something that now, as grown-ups, we've gone through hard moments. My sister went through some pretty hard stuff a few years ago, trying to have a baby. And when she found out she was pregnant, I sent her a package of windmill cookies. It's in our hardest times that sometimes laughing is the best thing. Yes, a hug, an embrace, comforting words, prayer, those are huge, those are wonderful, those are important. But we forget laughter sometimes. We think it's inappropriate. And there are times I have learned it is inappropriate. And it's usually a really tough lesson. But there are also times when you think it's inappropriate, and then you find out it was perfect. It's getting past that fear. I made a fool of myself over here fake laughing, right? Again, glad it was not recorded. But at the same time, it's funny. And in a classroom full of kids, it's even funnier. Laughter carries us through our hard moments. Think about humor. When do we use it, right? The reading talked about we use it in the workplace. We use it in our entertainment at home. We use it in celebrations. We use it in good times. But we also use it in hard situations. We use it in funerals, memorials, job loss, times of job loss, times of reorganization and stress. We cannot forget that laughter doesn't only belong in the good spaces. It is a gift to us that sometimes we forget in the closet. So, is that not the best kind of gift? One that can be used no matter what the situation, no matter what's going on, you can pull it out and use it. Do you know how many times I got gifts as a kid that I could only use at certain times? Why can't my remote control car be at church? Why can't I take my balloons to the store, right? This is the gift that you can literally take into any situation with any person. Friends, family, forgiveness. These are the gifts we focus on. These are the gifts that we remember. These are the gifts that we can offer more readily, not easily, always. Forgiveness, that one's really hard, right? That one we're not always great at, but we try. But laughter, more often than not, gets forgotten in those situations. We all love to laugh, we all use laughter constantly, but we forget to use it sometimes as the gift it is. It's the gift that was given to us that we can give to others. But did you ever get a gift that also takes work? Like, oh, thank you. This is gonna take me about 3 hours to build, but I really do appreciate it. And I'm not talking about IKEA furniture, right? We buy that ourselves. That's just like, I don't know, that's like masochism. But I am talking about real gifts, like humor, that take work. Some of my research right now for my PhD is in humor. Actually, all of it is in humor. Some of it is in how people don't want to use humor because they think they're not good at it. And the fact of the matter is, yep, that's true. Some people are not naturally good at humor. But sometimes that's really funny and then those people are accidentally really good at humor, right? And the more you practice something, the more you work at it, the better you will get. Period. Whether it's roller skating, writing your name, or cracking jokes, you will get better because you'll learn from your mistakes. You'll learn when people don't laugh, okay, I'm not going to try that one again, or I'm going to try that with a different group. Laughter doesn't just take practice. Laughter is spiritual practice. There's another small excerpt I want to read you from Reverend Sparks' book about this very thing. To develop anything of worth in life takes practice. That includes our spiritual path, and it most definitely includes laughter. Yes, I said it, laughter is a spiritual practice. You may not have heard it described this way, but practicing laughter is no different than practicing yoga or meditation or prayer. The transformative nature of any spiritual discipline comes with regular practice. When done consistently, it can eventually change our lives. Making laughter and joy a consistent part of our daily routine is like doing windows. I'm going to pause and explain. She goes into this long explanation, living in New York. She hates cleaning her windows, but she lives in New York. So her windows are constantly covered in smog and filth. Now, she could choose to not keep doing it. She could choose to not keep practicing this window cleaning task, right? There's no point. It's just going to keep getting smog. So what is the point? But every time she cleans them, she can see something through her window again that reminds her that New York is not just smog. She'll see somebody helping somebody on the street. She'll see somebody hanging some decoration in their window across the way. She sees something that reminds her why it's important to clean her windows, no matter how futile it may seem, no matter how much she feels like she's never going to be able to get them clean all the time. It cleans away, this doing of windows, cleans away old patterns that block our vision. It allows more light into our otherwise dimly lit houses. Henry David Thoreau wrote, "Though we travel the world over to find the beautiful, we must carry it with us, or we find it not." Laughter is the beauty and the light and the spirit we all carry within. We just need to acknowledge and welcome it as a gift from and a means to the holy. Practice laughing. Whether it's cracking dad jokes with the people in your home or the people at work. And yes, there are people at work who don't want to joke around. Joke with them anyways. Okay, don't get yourself in trouble. I'm not trying to create a bunch of HR situations, but joke with those people. Sometimes the hardest people to get along with in my life became much easier to deal with when I would joke. Sometimes it had to be at my own expense first, right? But once you get them laughing, you'll find that even the hardest people do enjoy being happy. I don't know anybody, I've never met anybody who did not like to feel happy. They might have felt plenty of reasons to not feel happy. But what a gift the Creator has given you that you can teach that person how good it feels to be happy and to laugh. And maybe your joke is good enough that they'll put it in their pocket and use it later and help somebody else. Practice. Make it a focus. Be bad at it. Be bad at humor. That's some of the best humor. Think about how many, there's a whole theory on cognitive dissonance, right? Humor is funny because it's bad sometimes. I'm not saying be offensive, I'm not saying be mean. I'm saying push the limit a little bit. Be funny, that's why God taught us to laugh. Think about how good it feels in your whole body when you can't stop laughing at something. The more you focus on this, the more you try it, the more you look for it, the more you will begin to naturally see it. It will become a part of who you are. Think about the things that are most important to you in life. You see them, right? The things that, when you care deeply about family relationships, When you're out and about, you'll notice families that are talking and getting along. You'll notice ones that are not. When you make humor a focus, you'll see funny stuff. You'll hear funny conversations. I can't tell you how many times I'm not eavesdropping, but I'm standing in line and I hear something funny behind me and I start chuckling. And usually you get a look from the person like, oh, sorry, you heard that? And I always say, no, please, don't apologize. Maybe I need to apologize for listening, but you just made my day. Be that person. Work to see the brightness in the dark. Work to see the beauty through the ugliness that we know can be around us. Laughing doesn't make that go away. Humor doesn't make hard go away. It just makes it a little better to get through together. The point is, it's a beautiful gift. Don't waste it. Use it. Share it. It takes work, but once you get it built, you can just keep building on it. It is like the best Lego tower ever. It will just keep getting cooler and better. More people will be able to use it. In fact, you can make it big enough that people can climb inside it with you. I want to finish with a letter. A letter from God. No, I did not really get a letter from God, obviously. But Susan wrote in her book, A Letter from God. And I really, really, really love it. I just gotta, oh, did I have the page earmarked and unfolded? There we go. Hello, my children. That's how I assume God's voice sounds. I am not Morgan Freeman. I am so glad you picked up this book because we need to talk. Look, I appreciate all of your spiritual efforts, the custom meditation cushions, the Balinese incense, the PowerPoint liturgy, really, I do. But something is wrong between us. Something is missing. I sit with you and all your spiritual paraphernalia, and I feel, empty. I know that some of you do too. I listen to your prayers and I think, well, where's the fire? Where's the intimacy? And then it dawned on me. We don't laugh together anymore. Now, don't roll your eyes at the creator of the universe. Humor is some powerful stuff. Have you forgotten that we share a sense of humor? Remember the whole made in the image of the divine thing? And you know that you are the only creature that really laughs. Well, there's that hyena that I made, but let's not get sidetracked. Besides, just consider the diversity of creation and then tell me that I don't have a sense of humor. Heaven and earth, platypus and blowfish, Jerry Springer and Jerry Falwell. So what are you scared of? Where's your sense of humor? Did someone steal it? Did you lose it? Is it in the same place as those missing keys in your umbrellas? I mean, come on. I gave you laughter as your first gift, a baby gift. Don't you remember? Well, the sad truth is, unless you're under 12 years old or over 70, you may not. It's no accident that laughter is honored most in the times of life that you are closest to me. Childhood, when you're fresh out of my arms, and then old age, when you're closing back into them. Ask any grandparent their thoughts on this. It's those in-between years. Those years when you think that you are the sole beneficiary of the universe. That's when you need this gift the most. So here's a little secret. You don't have to lose your sense of humor as you age. Skin elasticity, maybe, but not humor. Look, I'm not much into long-winded sermons, so I'll get to the point. I long for a more intimate relationship with you, and we can have it. It's not one bit different from how you develop intimacy in other relationships. You listen, you share, you build trust, and you laugh. They all relate. You can't laugh if you're not listening, and you can't authentically share if you hold a part of yourself back as unlovable or unacceptable. You want healing? You have to give me all the pieces. I want all of you. The anger, the pain, the tears, and the laughter. I love it all. It's all Okay, so maybe you don't have to laugh to find me, but I tell you what, come, sit with me in a quiet place, tell me your stories, share your dreams. Just laugh with me a bit. I'll take it from there.